Have you ever made a mistake pricing something and when it sells, you kind of get that knot in your stomach? Well, I made a mistake on this postcard. I have a lot of stuff to go over today. I got a whole bunch of cards sold on eBay and Etsy, nothing on HIP. Metal add-on postcards is the special topic today. That's the postcards that have that little piece of metal attached to it. Those are the ones you do not want to put through your scanner. And we'll talk about those. And then I did a poll. Put a poll out there. Do you use a rigid top loader when mailing postcards? And we got about 40 responses to it, so I'll go through the comments and stuff like that later in the video. And then I got a couple viewer comments to talk about at the end. But let's go ahead and get started on what cards sold on Etsy first. I only sold one card, and this card always sells for me. And the same with the Legend of the Spanish Moss, the Legend of the Seahorse, the Legend of the Sand Dollar, Legend of the Dogwood. I think it's North Carolina's state flower or something. Legend of the Dogwood. I've sold this card, I couldn't tell you how many times. But every time I see it, I pick it up if it, less than, only sold for $4.55, but they brings in $4. So that was on only one sale on Etsy. And like I said before, eBay is 80% of my sales. Etsy's 15% and HIP is 5%. And HIP is just whatever comes in. I use that money, to buy postcards or whatever, but it's just there. And Etsy, I really don't want to go over 4,000 cards. That's about $800 a year if they don't sell, and that's about what a store would be on eBay. So do you put more on Etsy and you get more sales? I just don't think it's there. I got about 4,000 cards on Etsy, and I might bring it to 5,000 by the end of the year, but I think I'm going to hold around there. The volume is just not there. Yeah, once in a while I get some bigger orders, but it's not like eBay. And on eBay, I got 30,000 cards listed on there. Quantity is up to 90,000 cards because I got all the naval ships and multiple quantity. But listings about 30,000, and I do 80% of my sales. So that's where I focus on. And jumping around the different platforms, I really don't want, I just want to keep 3. I don't want to do more than that. And I don't want to cross list anything where I have to manage it too much on there. But with eBay, I did sell 8 cards for $50. So total, had 9 cards sold. Sales up and down. Some days you have 20s, 30, some days you have 5. I just look at it for a month. But this one was a weird one. I listed it, and it's in Canada, Winnipeg, and all it says is, it says right here, this is our stamp office. Does anybody from Canada know what a stamp office is? I haven't looked it up yet. Before I pack it up, I was going to Google stamp office. But it says, this is our stamp office. The Red River is a few paces to the right. All around is summertime. Memo from K. Beliski, Station B, Winnipeg, Canada. So stamp office, is that a post office in Canada? I don't know. It was kind of weird when I listed it, and it sold within 24 hours. So if someone knows what that is for $4.55, it sold for. The next one was a cemetery showing fine tombs in New Orleans. I always sell, this is a white border card. You can tell most of the time I see that on the white borders as well. But at New Orleans cemeteries, they actually bury them above ground, is what I understand, because of the water table is so high there. But that sold for $4.55. And another hit on my top rated seller, another 3x6 photo, $8.55 for the Texas BB35 circa 1920s. Stamped and a label, not eBay standard envelope, no tracking. I'm still on a grace period. We'll find out. Have you ever made a mistake pricing something and when it sells, you kind of get that knot in your stomach? Well, I made a mistake on this postcard here, and I usually don't list these cards. This is a wish you a bright and happy birthday. It's a lacquered card. It's got some lacquer on it or varnish, and it's embossed, not kind of say medium embossed, and it was posted in 1910. This card I would list for $4.55, but when I looked at it when it sold, I said, what? I sold it for $8.55. I don't know why I put this card up for $8.55. Most of the mistakes with pricing, you end up losing money. I actually doubled my money on this card. You won't see too many birthday greeting cards sold from me. I was surprised by this one, so maybe my luck is turning this month, but I made a mistake and doubled my money. Birthday card. This card I listed just yesterday too, and it sold within 24 hours. I don't do a lot of these cards, but this came in a lot. It's a divided back. I think it's a real photo postcard. I didn't really look at it. It's just a girl with a bow in her hair. I think I put the title, Little Girl, and I didn't do much with the title or anything. I just put it up there for $4.55 and it sold. It's just a girl. I don't do a lot of these. I just wanted to move, and it moved. $4.55. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these what sold, so we can just go right through the video today. This is Howard Johnson's Motor Lodge. Howard Johnson's sell. This was a nice air view of this one, and it was in Springfield, New Jersey. $4.55 on posted chrome card. So motels, and you'll see another one here in a second. This is another one I listed yesterday. It's the Guest House Colonial something. When I listed, I said, oh, that one's gonna sit. It sold within 24 hours. $4.55. Hit somebody's save search or something with a chrome card, unposted. And another hit on the top rated seller. Sold another naval cover. Look at that. See the stamp? Some ships have that stamp on there and stuff. This is the USS Hornet CVS 12, decommissioned, 1970s. Nothing in this one. It's just the envelope. $4.55, and that'll go with a stamp, and it'll be 2 ounces, so it'll be like 75 cents. But that's everything that's sold. So 9 cards, $50 on eBay, $4.50 on Etsy, 0 on Hip, $55. Kind of lower than normal, but it all averages out. It'll be okay. It all averages out for the month and the quarter and the 6 month and the year. It's up and down with postcards, the sell-through rate. But since we got all that done, I got a little bonus I didn't talk about. I went to the antique mall again. I was in an itch to buy some postcards. I got done with that special private collection videos and going and listing all those. And I said, let's go to the antique mall. And this one guy has a booth that has a lot of postcards, and they're priced okay, and I like to support them, so I always buy $5 to $10, $20 of cards from them, even though they're probably a little more than a reseller should be buying. But I kind of cherry picked them this time. And I paid $5 for all these cards, $5 to $6 for all these cards. First one is just a motel, Uptown Motel. Chrome card. I always pick up the motels, as you know. Next one, I seen this card once before, but as we were talking about different dams and stuff like that on the later videos, this is the inside of Boulder Dam. This is where you walk through the tunnel. It's a linen card. I thought it was pretty cool. Next one, swimming pool. This is a lake with a diving board. Look at that contraption they get up on, a high dive. I think it's a high dive up there, right up there. But I always pick up swimming if the price like this. This was priced pretty reasonable. Of course, I pick up the nice linens with the blue and the shades. This is Army, United States Army, and I think it was 1943, so it was around the wartime. That's a neat card. I'll probably price that up, $650, $750. I'll probably have to do some comps to see where I can get for that. Motel, nice banner card, nice mosaic of different things. Congress Inn, Lincoln, Nebraska. I always pick those up. Jensen Beach in Florida. I always try to pick up the beaches. Some of them don't do well, like Bailey's Beach in that special collection didn't do well, but some of them are pretty lucrative on there. And this is posted 1970s. Chrome card. It does have a little bit of spotting on it, but that's just the history of the card. Then we got into some military cards. This is on review in Camp Grant. It's not a real photo postcard. I do not believe it's like a reprint Army card, but it's got the soldiers in there. Those usually do pretty good when you got the soldiers. Same thing here, street scene, Camp Edwards, Massachusetts. Same type of thing. They actually have like the from address right back there. I don't see. I don't remember seeing that before on a lot of cards. But that's another military. Then we get into Eskimo, Alaska. I always pick these up. This will do well. Little Eskimo kids, Eskimo children in a sealskin kayak. Now the only problem was it's got a little bit of staining on the back, but that's the back of the card. But that Alaska cards always do well. Like I said, I cherry picked this guy. I stood there for maybe 45 minutes to an hour going through all his postcards, and this is all I picked out. This is another Alaskan card on the shore. the two kids standing on a boat. That'll do well. And then I picked up this Moonlight Excursion on Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Always pick up the night scenes. I do. They'll move, not top dollar, but they'll move. Look at those colors, the midnight blues. That stuff sticks out in the listings, and people, I do very well with night scenes, and they do move. $5 to $6, 11 cards. So now let's get into metal add-on postcards. Now there's not a lot of information about this, just like the wooden postcards. You know, definition for a wooden postcard is postcard made out of wood. Well, guess what the definition for this is? Postcards with attachment made of metal. That's the definition I came up with. Postcards with an attachment made of metal. A lot of time, there's just not a lot of information about this. These are novelty cards. A lot of places did them, and I'm going to go through some here. I do have one that I purchased at an auction. I actually bought the album just for this one card because I liked it. That's a piece of metal, and it's actually pushed through the card and bent over to hold it. But that's metal. You do not want to put these in a scanner. I wouldn't even put them on a flatbed. I would take a picture with a camera. But that's metal, and it's attached to the card. And it's kind of like a Reading Pennsylvania carousel showing miniature railway Pandora Park. Probably a nice card, but it's got the metal on there and stuff on that. So that's the only one I have, and I don't have it for sale. It's in my private collection that I keep the novelty cards on. But do not put those through the scanner. They won't go probably, and they'll end up scratching your lens on your expensive scanner. But a lot of times you'll see these with anchors, crosses, suspenders, horseshoes, bells. And as I go through the pictures here, we'll see all the different ones that are out there. And how I got these pictures, I just searched for metal add-on. And you're going to get a lot of other things with add-ons on there. These are the ones that I picked out to show in this slide thing. So let's walk through those real quick. First one is a Zeppelin going over a windmill. Thought it was pretty cool. You can tell that's kind of sticking out there. It doesn't look like it's artist. The next one is a horseshoe. It kind of blends in with the flowers. The bells are not metal, but the horseshoe is on there. That would be kind of a heavy card. Then the next one, you got the bell with the ribbon. It sitting there with the metal. That's pretty well a plain card. The next one, you can tell that one's a heavily embossed card with the top blue, and then you got the little car in the bottom. So it kind of sticks out, and it looks pretty neat. It's a vertical card. Then here you got the windmill. Again, that's a metal windmill stuck on the card. And then you get into the Buffalo, New York. Of course, it's got a buffalo on there, and that's a pretty intricate buffalo. And it's nicely placed where it sticks out, flying through the sky. That's a metal buffalo sitting there. And then you put this last card here is of an eagle, and I don't know, it just doesn't really sit with that picture, but these marketers attach stuff like that for the novelty. But those are the 4, 5, 6, 7 cards for examples to see out there. When you do lots and stuff, you're going to be able to pick these out because they're going to stick out a little bit. Don't really know if they sell that well. I haven't been that good with them, and I don't find them that often. But let's do the normal: sold high, sold low, list high, list low. Just give us a ballpark of what these might be worth. First one is a Halloween silk felt metal add-on. Now I usually don't put Halloween or the higher end cards in here because it kind of throws off the average. It just silk felt metal add-on. I didn't see much in this picture, but it sold for $49.99. So $56 that's sold for. Christmas felt and metal Santa Claus. You got the sleigh down there that's metal on there for $20, $22. That one sold. And the same thing here, Christmas silk and metal on there. It's got some metal in it, the sleigh and the reindeer. And that sold for $22 as well. Looks like it's probably the same seller. About $20. And you can throw out that Halloween one, because that's probably a special one. I would say roughly $20, $25 for these. But then let's get into the sold low. This is where it always gets good. Everybody likes to look at the highest one sold, and that's the next bolo, whatever they call it out there. But then you get into the low ones. Here's one, $4.90, one bid, auction, one bid. That's probably why it failed, is it only had one bid. You didn't get two people going at it. Metal add-on heart, those hands on there, the bracelet, sold for $5.50.
Buffalo, New York. Here's that Buffalo again. I think it's the same Buffalo that was in the other picture, metal thing. That sold for $6, $7. And then the next one is a trolley or something, Swift Current thing. That sold for $6, $7.50. So you go from the high end of $20 down to $7, $8, $5 to $7. So where would you put it? 10 to 12. So if you saw one of these in a box for $1 or $2, would you pick it up and post it if it sells between 7 and 5? I probably would. Make sure you get metal add-on in the title. I get so many people asking me questions. How can people list these things so high or so low and stuff like that? So this is why I go through there, just educate myself, number one, and refresh what these things are worth. So when I go out looking for postcards, or I'm have an idea, or I have something to go back and look and say, yeah, that's what those are worth. But this one, $24.95 plus $2 shipping, so $26, $27 for a metal axe military, circa 1910. Red velvet postcard with gold trim, $20. $3.30 shipping, so $24. Novelty vintage postcard metal add-on. Looks like a GAR, Grand Army of the Republic one. I'm not for sure. $22. So those other ones sold for $20. So are they out of line here? I think the middle one might be something that's not special. The top one with an axe, it might be a hard sell. $12 maybe on there. And plus, I don't know about eBay standard envelope with some of these. Depends on the stiffness and stuff. But I would say some of them, like that axe, would pass in different things. But maybe I'll stick one in the mail and see if it makes it. Then you get into the listed low. And these are the people that drive down the prices, they say. But it's whatever people need and what they want and how they move their cards. There's models out there that people do. Some people do 20 auctions that start every Saturday, every Sunday, and ends on Sunday, and they're shipping out hundreds of thousands of cards on Monday, and they sell them for 50 cents and 50 cents shipping. You sell 1,000 cards for $1, that's $1,000 every Monday. And they'll just keep rerunning the auctions, and then when those auctions stop and they don't sell anymore, then they'll lot them up and sell the cards. Then they got other auctions going. So they'll do auctions of 1,000 cards and just kick them off and just keep rolling on there. And that's how those 50 cent, 25 cent people do on there. And that's a model. It does work. I know one seller last year had a feedback for the year of something like 40,000 feedback, and he does that type of auctions. So how many sales is that? Because not everybody leaves feedback. If he sells them for $1 and $1 shipping, just right after feedback, he sold $40,000 in postcards. But it is a lot of work, maintaining those auctions, listing the cards, packing them up, hundreds of cards every Monday. It's just something I don't want to manage. I like my little model that I'm doing at 455 with the white border and down. That so far it's been successful for me. But that's what people do with that. But listed low on these cards. Here's one for $5, $4.99, $2 shipping. It's got a little metal writing thing on there. I would say that's about right. New Year postcard now with the metal add-on. New Year's cards, I don't even touch those. Metal on there, $6 to $8. The other ones are, like I said, 7 to 8. I don't think these prices are on the high and the low are really extreme like some of the other ones that we've seen in video. Then the other one is a neat one. It's got 2 kids, so it's got some action. It's got some color, and they're bringing home some kind of anchor or something for $7. So I think that one's probably priced right because it's got the kids, it's got the blue jeans, it's got the dress, it's got the green, the pole. It's got things to look at. I would probably say this is one of the better videos with the listed that I've seen in a while, and not that critical of. Maybe some of the titles could be worked on there, but that's metal add-on cards. Look for them, but don't put them through your scanner. Who knew? Now, these polls I put out every Saturday, I got them scheduled for a couple months worth out there. I just come up with ideas and put them out there, questions that I get, and I'll just put a poll out there just to get people's pulse. And everybody can look at them. I leave them out there and to see how people do things, and maybe I'm not doing it right, or there's a better way to do it, or what's the majority of people do. Am I staying in the lanes on the road on there? But when you actually, if you select a yes or no or whatever, one of the options in the poll, I don't know who that is, it's anonymous, but if you leave a comment and I will see your name in there. They don't give me that other information on there. But this one was interesting. And I got the comments I'm going to bring up here in a second too. About 5 comments that came with this poll. Some people left comments. Do you use a rigid top loader when mailing sold postcards? 14% said yes. 77% said no. And 9% left comments. I myself personally do not. I ship out in one of these 6x5, 4x5 EcoSwift photo mailers, best envelope. I have a video on the best envelopes to use and how they grade these. This is the 250 GSM. It's got a little bit of a glossy finish. I put it in a brand new poly sleeve, the postcard, continental or regular, and I just put it right in there. And I'm going to show you feedback here in a second that I get for doing that. Also, these go in mailboxes most of the time. They fit in slots or mailboxes. They're not going to get that much wet. If they do, it's an anomaly. But all the years that I've shipped thousands and thousands of boxes and postcards and stuff, I've never had one damaged from water. I actually took this and I put it in a sleeve. And my grandkids have this little sink thing like washing dishes, a play school thing. And I put it in there and I let it run for 3 minutes. And just let it like drizzle on top. Then I opened them. It got a little soggy. Then I opened it up and I looked at the postcard. Not a drop of water touched the card inside. Now, if it did it for hours, it probably would. But I've never had a problem with that on there. That's what I use. I don't use it. Now, if someone buys a $30, $40 card, I pack them up a little bit differently. I have a video on how I do that. And I'll use the stiffer eBay stuff, envelopes maybe. But I don't sell that many high-end cards, and that's one reason why I don't, because I don't want to get into all the questions and back and forth and hey, the corner's got a, you didn't say the corner was rounded, and if you stay white border down, it kind of polices itself. They know they're buying a $4, $5, $6 card, and when you have a refund, it doesn't hurt the pocket that much. But here's some comments that we got. First one, to use expensive, or it says too expensive to use for every postcard, plus the added postage of shipping several cards. I used to ship in a 9x6 clasp envelope with a manila folder cut to fit as a stiffener and then ditched the envelope for a poly bag. Using eBay standard envelope, it states no plastic, so I switched to a 7x5 EcoSwift mailer, and I still use the poly bag for moisture protection. So that was one comment on there, and that's the way he likes to do it. And it's worked well for him. Not saying what I do is the best on there, but I stayed away from the 5x7s because if I put a postcard inside one of these, they have a tendency to bend a little bit more, and the post lady might bend this to get it in the mailbox. Where if I use this postcard, this one, it'll fit into any mailbox. There's no bending or anything like that. That's my thinking. Put it in the comments how you think and, you know, come up with a conclusion. But there's really no right or wrong way. It's whatever you like to do. And this is what he likes to do. Next comment was they only use a rigid mailer for cards $20 and up. If it's $20 and up, they'll put them in a rigid mailer. Next comment, I use a soft sleeve sandwich inside 3 index cards. 250 GSM. That'll take care of that. Next comment, only when the customer pays an extra fee for that or a card is worth more than $50. When I put my shipping in the listings, let's say eBay, the default is free shipping because I got it added into the price of the card, and it's eBay standard envelope. The next option they have is first class, and if they go first class, then they get a special packaging, and it gets a label. It goes in a better packaging, and they pay $4 or whatever it is. I also offer priority. I didn't at first, but I had a lot of people were doing weddings. They wanted to use them as their markers on tables, and they wanted to pay it. And so I just added it to all my listings priority, and I think I got it at $8 domestic. I do not do overnight for anything. I will never do that again. Years ago I did it once. Biggest fiasco ever. Go to another seller that does it, because my collectibles you don't need overnight. They're not commodities, and I will not do that. I didn't have the boxes, and I thought I was being a good seller, and so I learned a real quick lesson. I don't, no. if you have those options once in a while, and you got to check that because I'll miss it once in a while. You sell so many cards with free shipping, so every time I go to ship something, I look and see what they paid for shipping. If there's anything but zeros there, then I check and see what it is. The last comment was, I ship every card the exact same way, whether it sells for $6 or $200. Repeatable, sustainable process. That just jumped right out at me. A business model needs to have those key things. Sustainable means you need to have product. You need to be able to source. You need to be able to get your supplies. Sustainable. You just can't go out to a thrift store and say, didn't have anything today. Tomorrow didn't have anything. Oh, they got something today. You're playing the horses. Part of the business should be sustainable. A backstock, death pile, whatever they call them, to weather those times. Repeatable. You get good at it if you do it 1,000 times. I know everybody who sells postcards have probably gotten pretty good at eBay standard envelope and sticking those 4x6 labels on there without getting a crease across the barcode, and especially those thinner ones. I have a problem once in a while with that. I get too fast and I'll end up getting a nice little crease going right across the address or something. But you get good at stuff. So sustainable, repeatable processes on there. Don't make it too complicated, because you don't want to work that hard doing it. Now, how can you gauge how you're packaging your postcards? What are one of the tools that you can use to gauge if you're packing okay? Now, you can overpack, and if you do, if I used a rigid mailer in one of these for eBay standard envelope, or I put it in one of these, and it brings me from 53 cents to 73 cents or 93 cents. So basically, if I can save 10 cents on 1,000 postcards that I sell, I'm going to save $100. If I can save 20 cents, $200, $300 for 30 cents. If I can save 60 cents on every postcard that I sell, from the cost of the envelope, my time, the sleeves, whatever it takes, the postage, the little cards you put in there, some people do, the plastic bag people put in there to keep the water out, even though the envelope does that. If you can save 60 cents, that's $600 every 1,000 postcards. And if you sell 2,000 postcards a year, that's $1,200. If you sell 4,000, it's $2,400. That's where people save the money in my eyes. This is me, and this is my opinion, is once you get sustainable, repeatable processes, then you can start looking where I can save. The reason I use this, and this only, is it keeps me under 1 ounce. I can put 4 cards and sleeves in that envelope with eBay standard envelope for 53 cents. If I didn't do that, then I would be at 73 or 93 cents. And over 1,000 cards, as many cards as I sell, that's a substantial amount of money at the end of the year. That's where I save. Some people will cut flaps off on boxes to save that from going to priority. There's different things you can do, but you got to get to the point of have sustainable, repeatable processes. That's where you can start saving money. When you get your business going, building a business is tough. It's a grind. To get there, you got to do everything you think you got to. But hopefully this channel and the questions and people in here can help each other out to get your expenses down to where it's worth it, and you can sell your cards for a price that will sell on there. But feedback is the best tool I found for any issues with mailing postcards. I always check. I get a lot of feedback. I mean, postcard people leave feedback. I mean, a lot more than toys, let me tell you that. Here's some of the feedback that I've gotten for doing it the way I've done. First one, very pleased with Vintage Postcard. Appreciate the care taken with packaging. Fast shipping as well. Thank you very much for a very pleasant, smooth transaction. I just put it in a sleeve and in there. I didn't go the extra mile for that. Item inscribed, packaged well. A real fine mid-century Canadian postcard, well packed for shipment to Canada. Arrived quickly, thank you. As you can tell, those three, nothing with packing. I haven't had any feedback. I looked through all my feedback and that it shows me on the first 5 pages, whatever. I didn't see anything with bad packaging. Then the other ones I got, great communication seller, great packaging. Order arrived quickly and well packaged. Great postcard, secure package. 5 stars, fast delivery, well packaged. Excellent packaging, just as described. So right there tells me that I'm going to stay at the 53 cents level with a sleeve and an envelope to keep, so I can save that $600 every 1,000 postcards. Now what you don't want to see, I had to go out and find a seller. I know one seller that sells postcards. He puts them in just a plain envelope, an A6 envelope. That's it. With an one index card. He just puts it in there, no sleeve and whatever. This year alone, I think he's got 10 to 12 negative feedback and a bunch of neutrals. And it's because the way he packages. Of course he has an upgrade in there. If you want better shipping, then you pay first class. But he just sticks them in an envelope with a stamp and sends them out. He doesn't use eBay standard envelope, doesn't do any of that stuff, and he just gets nailed in there. When I'm having a bad day, I go look at his negatives. Now, I don't know him personally, I just know the seller. But here's a couple of his negative. Warning, when buying postcards, he put them in a plain envelope and mails them. I received a postcard that was totally destroyed. The envelope was also destroyed. The postcard now has no value to anyone. Next one, unfortunately, postcard was not well protected. Of course it wasn't. They just put it in there. You got to find the middle ground when you're mailing postcards, I found. And so far, my feedback is my indicator that everything is fine on there. I have people say, hey, can you put it stiff? Can you make sure it doesn't bend and stuff? I just keep doing what I do. Like that other comment, I mail the same way. I have a guy in Hawaii buys a lot of cards, and he always comment to say, hey, make sure it's got this, 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 and this. Dude, free shipping, you're getting this on the sleeve. And I always get flying colors on his feedback. I think he's just got to can messages, because people like this other guy that puts them in an envelope and ships them out. I don't think it gives you, by going the extra mile with all the stuff and add to your cost, gives you any more sales than me. Now, we'll give you more sales than this guy with the bad feedback, but it's all expenses. But I appreciate everybody with the polls. If you got any questions about them, and I got a few of them that I got from viewers that I do have scheduled out there. I had to break a few of them up in different types of questions. But if you got any polls you want me to put out there to see what it is, or that would be cool to put out there. Always looking for information on topics to do. If you got a weird postcard, I love researching different postcards I've never done. I love sitting putting these videos together, because I'd probably learn more than you guys on stuff on there. But that's the poll. Mail with a rigid postcard. I hope that helped. But put it in the comments. Remember, there's two things you don't ask resellers. How do you ship, and how do you store your inventory? Well, I just broke the holy grail that I always talk about. Don't ask that question about shipping. Probably open Pandora's box with some people, because they're pretty passionate about how they do things, and I appreciate that. But do it the way you like doing it. If it feels good to you and it's working, do it. I'm not here to defend any of it. I just kind of show you my opinion and what I do. Hopefully it spurs some ideas, and cut your cost. That's the key. Remember, the whole world is about one thing: who saves the most money? The buyer or the seller. That's all life is to me, is who saves the most money. Who gets the most money. Now let's get into viewer comments. I thought that was a little long. I only did comments. The first one is Chad from Iowa. That's close to me. I'm in Illinois. He said, I'm new to this, but man, postcode sales are way down this month. I'm thinking it's the improved weather or tax season. When do sales come back? So far I've noticed Christmas season and now March are really slow periods. I've heard that midsummer is slow too. When people get up and moving around, you got to kind of throw out what happened in the last 2 years. Those numbers are kind of weird because everybody had to stay home or whatever. They didn't get out as much. But everything opening back up, I say in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see the biggest growth in a while. Once people figure out what damage that did and what disposable income they'll have. And once they get over some of the other stuff happening. But collectibles usually sell nice and trendy throughout the year. If you're tracking it by the day, you're going to chase the hamster wheel up and down, up and down. I look at it by the month. Like I just only sold 9 cards today. That's very low for me. Am I worried? No, because tomorrow I might sell 20 or I might sell 1. But by the end of the month, I always end up. And I just did the last video. I'm tracking to show everyone the percentage of cards sold every day and percent per month to see how it goes. I wanted real data on there. But he's right. Tax season, weather, Christmas will all have an impact to your sales. You just got to do a look ahead and know where you're going to be. So if you have some really, really good days, I put money away. I have 4 checking accounts in my thing. I have my operating expenses where I pay everything out of and everybody's hooked to. I only keep a certain amount of money up there. I have my inventory where this is how much money I can spend on inventory. My cost of goods go in there. And then I have my taxes, insurance, the bigger bills that you pay once a year. Every month I put a percentage. I took all those big bills, added them up what they would be for the year, and divided by 12. And every month I put that amount of money in there. So when my quarterly taxes come, my yearly insurance bill, I got some other things I pay that are $100 or more, it's all in that bucket. And I have 3 to 4 months worth of tax money, bills in there. So if I have some slow months, I don't have to worry because I know I'm paying my bills. And then my fourth one is my surplus or profit. And it doesn't go in those other buckets, go in the bottom, and that's where I can pull the draws and spend whatever I want on there. I always went by the school of the most important asset I have is the money. If I'm not organizing that correctly, then I'm not doing a real good job with my inventory. Manage my money just like I manage my inventory for postcards. Very easy to do. I do it. I move money at the end of every month. If I get a lot in some of those, I'll move it. I'll look at it and move it on there. But I'm very protective of that. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. And that's the life of reselling. And remember, postcards 2 to 5% sell-through rate. So if you only got 100 postcards up, you're going to sell 2 to 5 a month. You got to get quantity, unless you're doing high-end cards. But find a model, stick to it, sustainable, repeatable process, and you'll be fine. Everything will work out. It'll be fine. Postcards sell. They've had for 100 years. Next question is Jim Fowler. Mark, you're doing a real great job in explaining how you buy and sell postcards. Good, I hope so. I've got myself fooled. Thanks, Jim. I was wondering, does postcards from other countries like Rome, Europe sell, or are they hard sellers? Also about cartoon or comic postcards. I think I mentioned this in one of the videos in the last. I don't do many foreign cards, and the main reason is translation. I don't know the language. The only language I know is English that I can do that with. There's some Spanish and some German that I could probably see on there, but I'm not fluent I'm fluent in English. And they don't sell well in the States. I just haven't done, even the ones I did put up didn't sell as well as the state ones. So I kind of stick to the States, but it is neat to put them out there. There is a site, I think it's Delcamp Postcard, your Netherlands site. If you want to get into those and you have that skill of the language and stuff, that's where you can look at selling there. There's a fee to sell there, but I looked at it one time. But yeah, I'm not really that big in foreign cards. Now, if it's pre-war, during the war, or something special, just be careful it doesn't have that one country's war symbol on there. They are a long tail seller for me. But maybe other people have better luck with them, or success with them. But I tend to stay away from them. If I see a lot of cards and they say foreign, Asia, and there are some U.S., I kind of move on because I don't want to deal with them. And cartoon and comic cards, I have a whole video about cartoon and comic cards. Here's, in a nutshell, what I found is most people go in, read them, get a laugh, and move on. They're long tail sellers unless they're very special. I don't source them or put that many up anymore. One will slip, I'll have it in the scan, and I'll scan it and I'll put it up. But they don't know. Now, I also have another video about saucy seaside. Saucy. There goes that saucy again. Saucy seaside postcards. Those were your risque type cartoons back in the 50s and stuff. Those, the Bamfords. You want to look at that video for saucy seaside postcards to understand those types of cards compared to your comic and humor cards. And there is tons of comic humor cards out there. It was a big thing on there, and I did a whole video about it. Yeah, here's the comic one right here, this video. Check that out. See what your opinion is after you look through it and the pricing as I do. That video's right here. That's all I got for you today. Good luck out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.